Listen closely. The views discussed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts. Audience discretion is advised.
And we're recording.
Welcome to another episode of The Winning Podcast.
We are your hosts. I am Caleb.
I'm Luigi, just out here playing around with the headphones. So, this is episode 61. This is the episode post the art show?
Post art show.
Yeah.
Well, this is like maybe this is two episodes after art show.
Yes, but
yeah.
I guess to clear that up, we definitely recorded an extra episode ahead of the art show just to kind of promote it a little bit more. So this is definitely the first episode since then. So let's talk about it. How'd you feel about the art show?
I absolutely enjoyed myself to the extreme.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I had an amazing time, even though I was doing some bartending, but I still got to answer some questions about my art. I still got to help with the videos that we recorded during the art show, which you guys will also, if you haven't seen, we'll see soon. We'll see how that plays out.
Nah, they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you'll see it soon.
Yeah.
I had an amazing time. I'm glad that everybody was able to make it out. Everybody was pretty supportive of my art and each other. And overall, I'm just glad that we had the opportunity. My grandma called me and told me that she was going to beat me up because I didn't tell her about the art show soon enough for her to fly from Arizona. But I told her I'll get her on the next one.
Yeah.
Which is...
That is fire.
I think my next show is in April, the one that I have scheduled. But we'll get back to that later, too.
Yeah. Damn. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I also had a really good time. I would say I didn't really get to do a lot of walking around for the art show because of what we're doing with the podcast and everything like that. Which to, I guess, elaborate more on what Caleb said, I sat down with, various artists that were at the show, vendors, and we just kind of chatted for a little bit. Like, we just had a little chat. I asked him some questions, asked me some questions. We had some laughs. I tried to be funny on camera. So it was a good time. And by the time, I wrapped up the last recording, the show was over. But
it was pretty quick.
Yeah, I still had a really good time because, everyone I sat down with had a really good time, and everyone who I spoke to about, everything I missed, they were like, "Oh, it was amazing. It worked out." And I think for a first show, the criticism we had about it and, the things we would do different next time, they weren't bad. It was things like timing, like better organization and stuff like that, which are very crucial to, any show you're putting on. But we could have had issues of artists not showing up, people not seeing how, while it is a fun and relaxing event, it's also serious because it could have not happened. Mm-hmm. So I had a really good time. I really enjoyed the people I met. I look forward to working with the people who I worked with. Excuse me. So it's just one of those things. I'm looking forward to the next one. I know it sounds kind of low energy, like we're not too excited about it, but honestly, it was kind of a good high. And really, by the time we're recording this, I've already gone on vacation to celebrate. Like, a lot's happened. So I'm still feeling really good from it. All the friends who came out and supported, loved it, had a good time. All the friends who participated had a really good time. People sold art. So people were making money. People were making new connections, and it was a vibe. I liked it. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you. We were able to make some pretty key connections, especially like, I don't know, just being able to do interviews in a setting like that for the first time was pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, I wasn't there to do all of them because I had to do other things, but it was nice to have that footage and to be able to work with that as well. And then it's sorry. It's an amazing experience to really just get to meet and hang out with other artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like the art community as a whole, because man, art people are crazy. I love it though, the right kind of crazy. But you know, it was a great time. I had an amazing time. You know, just I don't know. The coolest part to me, I feel like, was post the art show when we had like that second day. My art was still hanging up and stuff like that. Some people stopped by and they took some pictures in front of my mirrors, and they were like, "Beautiful artwork," and I'm like, you know. Honestly, that's all I needed. like that's all I really need. And that's what they're for. Like, that's literally how I design my art, is to try to focus the attention right back on the person viewing it. And so that was just a really cool experience to just like reflect the beauty of everything else around it in the room.
Yeah. There was a lot of people there, and the art was very different. Everyone had a place to really, like you said. Well, I mean, you didn't say it, but based on you didn't say this, but based on everything you did say, to me, these are the experiences that matter. You know, like this is the early on practice for what will be next. It's if you don't enjoy these moments, if you take it in a way where it's like, oh, this isn't like the big times. It's not one of those big time moments or whatever. Like, you kind of lose out on what's happening right in front of you, right? Like, I don't know.
I kind of liked how, like, the one thing that we talked about the art show was like the things that we would do differently is just being a little bit more prepared. But I kind of just like how fast and loose it was.
Yeah.
Because it was really zero pressure
Yeah.
at the point where, like, at the arranged time for the art show to end, everybody just got drunk and started dancing and throwing balloons. Like,
Yeah.
it really was just like no pressure at all. The DJ was like, yeah, we'll just bust it for another hour. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, it was a great time. Like, I don't know. I need to stop saying like that. But yeah, I had an amazing time. And I'm glad that I was able to make such connections. And I have people like tagging me in comments and stuff. Like, it was great to meet you. Like, that is a crazy thing to me. Like,
Yeah, man, because we're still
was it
waking
great
up.
to meet me? What?
We're still
No
waking
way.
up to you were tagged in this, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
then say that.
Still being tagged in
Yeah,
things.
I like that a lot too. It's a little wins. It's not even bragging. This is literally the moment where you feel like the work you're doing matters. You know what I mean? So I appreciate those. But moving on. Welcome back to another episode of the Winning Podcast. I'm Luigi.
And I'm Caleb.
Yeah. How you doing, dog?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
You know, we are, like you said, we just finished riding out the high of being on that experience, and now we're on to next greater experiences.
But before we do that, let's talk about the news.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
More importantly, let's talk about Jonathan Majors. I'm a big fan. I'm really sad, you know, because he had a show on HBO. What was it called?
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, and it got
Really
it got
sad.
canceled.
It got canceled, not because of ratings, not because it wasn't good, because everyone loved it. Everyone's still upset it got canceled. I don't even know why HBO canceled it.
Yeah.
I think
we'll look into that next time.
I will go on a limb and say he kind of blew up a little quick, and maybe he might have wanted to renegotiate his contract. I don't know. Anyway,
I would.
yeah, Jonathan Majors, now part of the Marvel Universe as Kang the Conqueror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you know, as all things, when you become a big name, which is going to be, because I'm pretty sure he's the next big, like, he's like the Thanos of this, you know, whatever. So as with all rollouts, he got the GQ treatment, you know what I mean? Gentleman's Quarterly. And pretty much he went on, he did a shoot where he dressed up in some, you know, a big coat that had some feathers on it. He had some jean boots, boot jeans. I don't know what the term is when your boots
They're
or jeans and they're your pants.
Wait, were they all connected?
Yeah.
I didn't know
It
that was
just
all
one
connected.
piece.
Wow.
It
I
was just
didn't
one
realize that.
piece. Hey.
I just couldn't.
It was just one piece.
Oh,
Listen.
no way.
Listen.
No way. They must be stopped. Oh my
yeah,
god.
right, bro. Come on, listen now.
That is dope. Anyways.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. For some reason, at 27 years old, I never thought that your pants could be your shoes or vice versa. So it was kind of dope to see, right?
Especially when we're in the age of like the Astro Boy boot.
Yeah. And I also saw the feathered coat, and I honestly, that's a hard coat. From everything we've seen people wear nowadays, I remember when Kyle Kuzma wore that big old pink, like, overcoat to the game, you know, and everyone made an uproar about that. Men are wearing dresses, all sorts of things are happening. Honestly, that feather was the least noteworthy thing out of that entire photo show. I was like, man, like, look at this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as always, when the pictures got on Twitter, the conversation came back to look at how we're emasculating our black men. Do you agree?
I don't agree.
Why do you not agree?
Because I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast at all, but when people started talking about ASAP also. So we'll round everybody up in this.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. That's the one thing I wanted to bring up, ASAP. Yeah.
So they were talking about ASAP in this conversation. They've talked about Kid Cudi in this conversation. They talked about Jaden Smith in this conversation. Like, and they're mostly modern names. They're like, yeah. They'll be like, yeah, old black guys wouldn't have done this. You're absolutely right. They wouldn't have done this because they're not from this generation. Like, this generation is doing something entirely different.
Why do people not understand that? Why is that a fact that's so widely overlooked?
And why is it offensive?
Bro, you wouldn't do that. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
We did it, though. We did it, though.
Yeah.
And you know what else? We still get the same attention that you would have gotten doing way less.
And the other part of that too is you're talking about all these things you wouldn't do. But now it's an option. It was never a choice for you before.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times that's what they really mean. Like, we would have never done that because, you know, the minute you would have stepped out the house, you would have gotten jumped. Like, you know that. You know, we get it.
And here's
a lot of y'all wanted to wear.
And here's the thing. Back then, let's even just like tie it straight to the rap game. Like, even people in the rap game are like, I don't know if I would have ever done that. You know what? You're absolutely right. Once again, you're not going to see Jadakiss in a dress. Absolutely not. But that's because Jadakiss is from a different upbringing.
Exactly.
Everybody, all these other people, they're not even really like rappers. Like, they're like indie artists. And
y'all got to realize something.
And actors. Like, man, actors, y'all can wear whatever you want.
Exactly.
Like, and you really have access to things.
Because at the end of the day, Jonathan Majors is a drama kid. Yeah. Like no matter how buff he is, no matter what role he plays, he's just a drama kid. You know what I mean?
And we haven't even had the full discussion about the whole anime thing yet. But let's just start with no. I don't think it's effeminate to I don't know,
wear feathers,
to wear pink. Like, that's what they're really attacking here. It's like he sticks his lips out and he's wearing pink. And I guess his boots are his pants. Like,
that's, to me, that was filthy.
I don't know why any of those three things are particularly effeminate, especially when you look at all of Jonathan Major's modeling photos. Mm-hmm. All of them.
Yeah.
The man has nice lips, okay? Like, and they're like ridiculously juicy, almost to the point where I feel like it's like too much.
I'm going to be completely honest.
He can't stick them. He can't not stick them out.
I'm going to be completely honest. While this was a shoot to clearly promote, you know, like the new roles he's going to be in, because he's in a lot of other movies that are coming out. This was not a photo shoot for dudes. And honestly, can we be completely honest?
I don't think GQ covers are ever really for dudes.
No, because when I looked at the photo shoot, I was okay. I can see the target audience here. Like, women, this is clearly for women. Like, they're gonna pick this up. And when I had that like mindset to it, I was like, okay, I get it. This makes a lot of sense. And I agree with you. Bro, why are you pouting like that? But you know what?
He just does that in every picture.
You know
I have no idea
That's
why.
That's not for me. I get it. I ain't even mad at you. Do what gets you paid. It is Hollywood. And again, you are an actor. You're not, you can be a role model, but if you're looking for a, I guess, masculine role model, go follow Andrew Tate, because that's the only other alternative.
And also, whenever you do a photo shoot like that, what they do first is they're like, all right, we're going to take 1 million pictures.
Yeah.
A bunch of them are going to be bad. maybe 10 of them are going to be great.
And I do think he had a choice.
And they posted the rest of the photos, like most of the rest of the pictures from the photo shoot too. Like there were like 4 or 5 other pictures
there
from
was a
that
lot.
same exact like
There was a
set.
lot.
And he had other outfits too. That's
was a
just what
lot.
they chose for the cover.
And like I
GQ
said-
always goes the most striking thing, okay? Like that, come on.
I know his publicist and him to some degree must have, been like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
We like these.
Absolutely.
I don't think
because
Jonathan
they know
Majors is just a name where you walk into a room and we'll tell you what to do, and if you don't like it, it's not gonna happen. I definitely think he gets
dead.
a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah,
He definitely gets a choice.
absolutely.
And I think the same thing with ASAP Rocky.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Rihanna and ASAP or one or the other were like, yeah, that's the picture we want to go with.
Yeah.
And to be real with you, I've never been good at math. I hate math. And to try to use math to justify how a man is no longer masculine for me, you already lost.
Yeah, what are you on?
Like, we're just not doing
No
that.
way.
You know what I mean? Like, you over here, look at how the angle in his back, like,
Oh man, yeah, the line test.
like y equals mx
Yeah.
plus b, which means, and I was like, what, dog? Like, it didn't even make any sense. Honestly, as a man, or let's take out the whole as a man. Let's just not even do that. When the magazine cover is about Rihanna, who am I as a husband to be in front of her?
Yeah,
That doesn't even make any
absolutely.
sense.
I'm lucky to even be there if I'm being real with you.
That is so much exposure for Rocky, because if you've never heard of ASAP Rocky, now you need to know who Rihanna's with. Who is this guy? Like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy that is knocked her up twice now?
Twice?
Yeah.
You telling me?
And we ain't
you
heard
telling
nothing.
me?
We ain't heard nothing about a wedding either.
No.
Maybe she just really wanted these babies, and
Let's
maybe
not forget.
in 5 years she's gonna be like, you know what, I got this.
Let's not forget, Rihanna is a billionaire.
Yep.
Rihanna has dated billionaires, princes, like heirs. You know what I mean? Like, Rihanna has options. She chooses to do whatever she wants. ASAP slits twice, like you said, 2 kids. That's intentional. The first one, sure. Like, it was late night at the Kardashians.
You could make up any story you wanted for the first one.
Yeah.
But after the second one, okay.
Yeah, come on.
They had a plan.
Come on. Magazine covers.
They had a plan.
He's out here screaming your name, fangirling while you're performing at the Super Bowl. This is serious.
Here's the deal. She accepted the Super Bowl deal, and they still made that happen.
Exactly.
Because that Super Bowl deal had to have been either the same night or
Dude, yeah.
maybe it was
No.
the same night. I need to know how long she's been pregnant. Somebody get me the math. This
Yeah.
is the time we need math.
And everybody was talking about, who is she going to bring out? This baby. What you mean?
That was
This
killer.
baby already got royalties. That's
That was
insane.
killer.
That is insane. And yeah, I don't think ASAP is, because people got to realize, one, even as a rapper, that's a big part of your personality. It's a persona. It might not really be who you are all the time or who you want to be all the time. How do we not know ASAP has not always wanted a family and to not be, you know what I mean? And
that's a good
ASAP
thing,
is
too.
at a point in his career where when he puts out music, it's really a courtesy. And like, he's really just trying stuff out, and he goes, you know what? Let the people have this, because he's doing so much other stuff that I think aligns a lot more with who Rihanna is anyway. And let me tell
he's done providing what you guys want. He's a fashion killer now.
Exactly. And I will say this, for all these men talking about this is not masculine, how could you let your woman sit in front of you? I think there's something we need to unpack here about, why do you need to be in the limelight? Why is it your face on the cover? What's that really about? Why your friend just moved? Why
your friend just moved?
Like what's that about?
The baby in her stomach.
Yeah. Like, what's man like, nah, like, because
Oh my god.
I don't think standing behind your woman, which honestly, bro, if my girl is bad, yes, walk in front of me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Walk in front of me. That is what
Absolutely.
exactly you should be. Because I don't care about that. That does not mean I don't wear the pants in my relationship. And to some degree, like, that is none of y'all's concern.
Man, in a lot of ways, it's more safe. Let's even just put it into a masculine set of terms for a second, and let's just say that letting your partner walk in front of you is almost more protective because now you can see them and the threat.
Yeah.
What if the threat comes from behind you? Then or what? The threat comes from behind them while they're behind you. Then you really can't do anything.
I know, you're talking to yourself. You turn around, there's nobody there.
Exactly.
Listen.
Kidnaps.
And I'm going to be real with you. This is not
Sorry,
a podcast.
That's not funny, but that's what I'm saying.
This is not a podcast where we're just going to be talking about. This is not a one-sided podcast. Listen, if you want to be a hater, be a hater. I get it. I ain't even mad at you. Sometimes I hate. A lot of times I hate. Matter of fact, sometimes I roll out of bed. The first thing I want to do is hate.
Go to our Twitters.
Like, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I get up early. Why am I up so early? I'm about to hate. Anyway, there's a lot y'all could have hated on that I would have given a pass to. Baby pictures, I would have chuckled. If y'all would have started making baby jokes online, I would have chuckled. Who cares, right?
Babies be ugly.
Babies be ugly. That. You know what I mean?
I would have loved that.
But
honestly.
there are some things where like, put it down, relax, lay it to rest. We're not doing this. And it is really about emasculating black men. Because we've always had, this conversation about Hollywood's perception of us and all sorts of other stuff. Black men aren't just one. There's so many different versions of black men. Some black men watch anime. A lot of people were saying that, the whole anime thing, doesn't hold up with Jonathan Majors' pictures because no one watches anime. That's not true. A lot of black people watch anime.
Now they will. Okay.
Yeah, to know who Don Flamingo is.
And here's the deal. If any of you are superhero movie fans, you're watching anime.
You're
basically.
100%
You're watching anime. Live action anime, which is honestly widely touted as way worse.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to talk about it.
No.
Like, I don't want to hear any of that perspective talking about, nobody watches anime. We are Marvel fans. Did you read comics then?
Exactly.
None of you did. Most of you didn't, at least. So I don't really want to hear any of those perspectives either. Catch me in numbers of comics.
No. And my other thing too, I think Hollywood for a while has built a perception that black men are just big and bad. You know what I mean? Like they're just that was the archetype. Like you come in as a black man, you have to be buff. You have to be, you have to be whatever version of whatever a man is. And I think it's kind of cool to now get these versions where it's more of black men get to express themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which brings us to the next point of none of y'all are going to go up to Jonathan Majors and let him know he's not masculine. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Run up to that guy and tell him.
Let him know. Let him know what you really think about them pictures. And he really will ask you why your friend just moved.
No, dead ass.
He really will.
He'll ask with his pecs.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I saw that. He was just doing a shoulder exercise. He lowered down and then flexed them one at a time to bring it down. And I was like, okay, I don't even have
crazy.
I don't have nearly that kind of muscle control.
And I don't think it's fair for us to expect every black man in Hollywood to just be this big and bad dude that represents all black people, because for a while, that's all they've ever shown of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if you take the bad away, like you got to be, if you're black, like the black guy is always just huge, just huge, or extremely not. Like there was no in between.
Yeah.
There was no. You're either Urkel
in between,
or you were.
Or you're him.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I like all of this. I think it's gonna work out well. Shout out Jonathan Majors. I haven't seen the movie yet. I probably won't wait. I'll probably wait till it comes out, on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And if Hollywood is ready to change the image of a black man to a more inclusive of all different types of black men, let that be the way, because I think that does benefit a lot more people than they realize. Because again, I do think a lot of times when the older generation are like, oh, this would have never made the cut during our times, because you guys weren't allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of y'all probably would have done it.
And they weren't asking a lot of you either.
No.
And because they knew that you weren't able to do that role. And it's not that you weren't able to do it, it just didn't align. So now it does, okay? And there's a guy who likes to dress up like anime characters who's going to take that role.
I'm not going to lie to you.
You guys can just sit back and pay to watch it.
And if you guys do want to look into who Don Flamingo is, you realize Jonathan Majors is really gangster.
Yeah,
I'm
super
not even
gangster.
going to hold you. He is really gangster, because whatever. And with that, short break. We'll be right back. The Winning Podcast.
Boom.
Break breaking news. First of all, yeah, we took a break. And yes, we're in different clothes. And now that that's out the way, breaking news. You know, the Winning Podcast is all about controversy. It's all about having different segments, covering different things that the culture is doing. And now we have one of our nearest and dearest black member of or a community of, how do you even say that?
I don't even know.
We have somebody who apparently had a black card that we never knew he had.
He delegated himself a black card,
Yes,
apparently.
and he just gave it back because he apparently does not need it, does not want to be part of a hate group. And again, here on the Winning Podcast, all we want to do is we need to talk about it. So before we do talk about it, I'm going to go and play the clip for you guys, and we'll discuss afterwards.
Engage in the rant, so let's watch.
I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping Black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as Black to just be on the team I was helping.
Just be on the
But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think I'm okay to be white, which is, of course, why I
apparently you
identified as
didn't
Black, because so I could be on the winning team for a while.
Why did you want to be on
But I have to
Okay,
say,
okay, hold on.
this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities. I don't know that that's ever happened before. You know, normally you see a poll, you just look at it, you go, whatever. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all Blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them.
Bro, we don't want to have anything to do with you either.
No, you know what? I'll applaud because you shouldn't have anything to do with any hate groups. And if you find out that you're a part of a hate group, involuntarily, you should, by all means, go on social media and let the world know how you're not that person and you're not part of that group. I agree with them there. That's totally fair. I can't be mad at that.
I guess if you go from that angle, absolutely. He is correct.
To give y'all more context, that was Dilbert.
The artist.
Crazy name. I guess what we can do here, you should insert a reference picture of like art he's done.
Got you.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be funnier than just acknowledging his work, but it'll be right here.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. He's in a lot of newspapers, which a lot of those distributors have dropped him as an artist because you can't go online. And he pretty much pulled a Kanye with a lot less grace, if I'm being completely honest. Because he just went on social media and said, hey, I used to, fund, I'm assuming, black
charities.
Yeah, black charities
like
or whatever he's getting a tax break for, which evidently earned him a black card. Didn't know that was a thing. I'm not going to argue it because I didn't know it was a thing.
So
it could be.
You got, just like
Listen,
he
Ed
himself
Sheeran
said,
hangs out in the hood all the time.
Just like he said himself. He said he started identifying as black. Nobody ever said that they identified as he was a part of the
I guess
community.
that's fair. Ed Sheeran also just kind of casually wear bulletproof vests. He never said he was a gangster.
He didn't even try to like disguise it and be like, I have tons of black friends that also used to call me the N-word.
No, he don't.
No,
he don't.
like,
no.
No.
You identify. Listen, no. Here's the thing. I
God.
remember seeing this video before the commercial break. And for some reason, I didn't even think anything of it. I think it's mostly because he said he was part of the black community. Immediately, I was like, no, you're not. Like, no, I didn't even. Honestly, you look like your cartoons. Like, he really does. And what makes us a hate group? I feel like whenever somebody comes out and says black people are a hate group, it's usually because they're doing some foul stuff and we call them out for it and how it's not okay. And usually I do think some people get upset when we go, there's a certain group who would do this. Because a lot of time it's a certain group who's doing that. You know what I mean? Which is more of a stereotype than it's being a hate group, which y'all have so many stereotypes for us. It's crazy.
Also, this guy said it's a political poll. Like, it's not even really a political poll. You asked black people how they felt about white people, and
we're not with it.
And they answered you honestly. You didn't have to ask that question first of all.
You didn't, if you didn't want to know.
And second of all, there's nothing political about it. Like,
there isn't.
Whether, let's just say all politicians in the world were black, like, we would still hate them in some way, because politics is the thing that we don't really care for.
Mm-hmm.
It's less about the race in politics and more about you trying to justify why you changed your politics to something.
Because this is ridiculous.
And realistically, I think the clip that we watched too was like, she was like, he was already a Republican. Like, he
was conservative.
Yeah, he was already conservative, and now he's like, now I'm a Republican, and it's like, you already had had the same views.
Just now with a little bit more background, let's listen to the clip again.
I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as black.
Never heard of you.
To just be on the team I was helping. But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think
not even half, but okay.
I'm okay to be white, which is, of course, why I identified as black, so I could be on the winning team for a while.
Also,
but I have to say,
the winning team for a while.
Yeah,
that
hold on.
Is sick.
Also, how are you going to ask black people if they think it's okay to be white? They can't be.
Yeah.
Like, we literally can't change this about ourselves. So no, it's not okay to be white. What do you mean?
The winning team. Yes.
Oh my God.
I guess in the industry or entertainment industry.
This was basketball.
Yeah, in the entertainment industry, we have had a lot of success in some other industries and aspects as well. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying we're the winning team. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'll be the
starting with
first.
a handicap is also not helpful.
Listen, I'll be the first to say I believe black excellence is second to none. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that we're the pinnacle in a lot of things, but I don't know if I'd go as far as saying that we're the winning team to the point where white people would want to be black. I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah,
do you think we're there yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think we're there yet.
We just watched the Black Dynamite episode. Like, they don't want that.
I don't think y'all are ready for
want.
that. You guys are not ready for second place. And bro, listen to yourself. I've been donating to black charities, so much so, I might as well be black. You know how insane that sounds?
Yeah, come on.
You know how insane? How do you sit on camera, rub your hands together,
like Birdman?
Yeah, and say those words. I've been donating to black. Insane. Anyway, let's go.
This is the first political poll that ever changed my activities.
Lies.
Come
Lies.
on.
Anyway.
I don't know that that's ever happened before.
Lies.
Yeah, what?
Excuse me.
Normally you see a poll, you just look at it and you go, whatever. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member.
In the race draft, do you think what position do you think this man is at for draft order? If he's
honestly,
going free agent,
based on this video, for the draft, he doesn't show up. He's protesting.
You're right.
He's
You're
protesting.
Right. He goes, I'm choosing to be on this team, and the team goes, we have no affiliation with this player.
He goes, well, you know what?
No, I'm gonna show up to practice then, and they're like, we will kick you out every day.
I do think he's the guy. And let's just finish the video.
A hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group.
Accidentally.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group.
Your understanding of this poll.
That's a hate group, and I don't want to have anything to do with them.
And I also want to take a second and point out the difference between, as we've talked about on this show and in our own personal conversations, there's a difference between hatred and being a hater.
Yeah.
We can be a hater of white people. I feel like
100%.
we've earned that.
Yeah.
We've definitely earned the right to be a hater of white people.
A lot of groups would agree with that.
Absolutely.
A lot of groups would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Except for Gilbert.
Yeah, it's Dilbert. It's just even worse.
Listen, my thing with him is that I think it's hilarious for him because I want to know what's the true situation that changed your perspective. Because is it really a pull, or did you try to pull something that you thought you were hip enough to pull because you were black, and then everybody looked at you like, bro, what are you doing? Like, there has to be more to the story. I refuse to believe, because, bro, you're old as shit. Like, excuse my language. You've never seen a poll you disagreed with before? Why'd you start donating to black charities?
Yeah.
There's so many, and I know there's been racist polls. You didn't disagree with those either? No, listen, dog. I just think this is hilarious because, again, this feels like, this just reminds me of when we went to dinner the other day, when we're sitting around, or when the other table was like, I think it was like 6 girls. 4 of them were white, 1 of them was Asian, and 1 of them was black. And the white and Asian one were like, oh yeah, we could never bring a black guy home, not because we don't want to date him, but because our parents would never get over it. Like, to me, it sounds like the same conversation, because it's like, why are you hanging out with me if immediately, like, if it is up for debate, you don't even, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? Like, and the black girl was sitting around the table, like, trying to laugh and be comfortable with the situation.
That's a take a sip of your drink situation.
But in that situation, I felt like she was Dilbert, low key, because she's hanging out with all the whites and all the Asians, but they're like, yeah, we don't really know if we could really date your kind. And I'm shocked when she goes, you know what? I'm black anyway. I don't even want to be a part of you guys' group. Whatever. But this is insane. I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, the CEO of transracial identity.
CEO of transracial identity.
Oh my god.
Honestly, that's not far-fetched.
This man.
Because even I was looking at some diversity and inclusion pictures the other day. They were all white. So I'm sure the guy who'd be leading the charge of, hey, I know I'm white, but I'm really black, would be a white guy. It wouldn't be the other way around.
Absolutely not.
Talking about controversy, we're already on the topic. I know you brought up Aiden Ross earlier. Yeah. I wonder if we could find a clip of whatever he had said too.
Yeah, we'll try to pull up a clip of this, but if you're not already privy to the information, as I love to say, Aiden Ross has been going down this is like a 3-week thing.
Oh, there it is.
All right,
there it is.
Then we can play the clip once you got it. But Aiden Ross has been going down kind of a rabbit hole. Like, it seems like every streamer and every YouTuber, everybody was like, Aiden Ross, you have so much potential. You could be the next Green Lantern of streaming and YouTube. Like, you got the young people, you got some of the old people. Like,
first comment.
Come
that
on.
takes a lot of guts.
No.
And that's why we support you, Aiden.
No, we hate it.
Yeesh.
Okay.
It's a 2-minute clip, and I kind of want to listen to the entire thing.
We could probably play the whole thing. We can cut it into pieces on the flip side.
All right, yeah, let's listen to this.
Live commentary.
It's been a very chaotic week for me. I've been canceled twice.
Yikes.
I've been permanently banned on Twitch.
Nasty.
But I also signed an amazing, great deal with my new platform, Kick, where I will be streaming full time, as you guys know.
All right, I will be completely honest. There's a lot of new platforms that these streamers are running to, saying that they've been signing deals with. If you guys look into these platforms, they're extremely conservative. They are extremely right wing. They're literally, they will give you a deal if you are willing to do nothing but spew this type of
right-wing
content
propaganda
that I'm pretty sure everybody here in this 2 minutes.
Just
Back to
shock propaganda.
Yeah.
Link is in the bio, please.
I also want to say Aiden Ross looks like 90% of y'all boyfriends, and they really do all think like this.
Also, just for that
YouTube
specific
description.
reason, in post, I think I might even cut out what streaming service he went to. You guys should know if you're actually paying attention, because I'm not going to give them any
follow
clout.
me over there. The mobile app is coming out March 3rd. It's got
No.
numbers, okay? It got a lot of likes and a lot of who are gay and trans in the past 24 hours. And they also agree with me that there's only two genders, male and female. When people are trans who are gay and trans, tweet is not targeted towards anybody. That's part of the LGBTQ plus community at all. Because I've spoken to people who are gay and trans in the past 24 hours, and they also agree with me that there's only two genders, male and female. When people are trans, they transfer from a male to a female, or male to a or male to a female, or female to a male. But what I'm trying to say is this. This tweet is targeted at the people trying to cancel people. This is cancel culture. I'm coming at cancel culture right now. I'm going to cancel culture. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because this is a fact. It's not even a controversy that what I tweeted. It's a fact, bro. Scientifically proven, there's an X chromosome and an XY chromosome, okay, to make a male and a female. It's a fact. You can't. The social media people all agree with me. They just can't say anything. They can't. Ask them right now. If they're live streaming, ask.
How do you feel about that?
That's stupid. Because here's the deal. So we've gotten to the point where when it comes to gender identity, it really is more than the science. So deflecting and being like, well, a trans person told me that there's only two genders. And you're like, well, okay, like that's one trans person's perspective on how they view gender. For them,
I also know gay people who hate gay people. So,
yeah.
Dog, asking somebody from the community about that community is not necessarily like that's not the you see moment that you think it is. You know what I mean?
No, not
there
at
are
all.
black people who hate black people. You know what I mean? Clearly, Dilbert hated white people until we made him mad. Like, it's across the board. It makes no sense.
So it really just comes down to however you feel about it, man. Mm-hmm. It's like asking somebody to define love, right? Like love is the crux of why these people feel differently, you know, because they feel loved in one way or they feel loved as a different person and they don't feel loved as the person that they were assigned. And so to be like, yeah, you know, this handful of people have now confirmed my bias. It's the only opinion that matters is like really stupid. Yeah. And to run with that as your like official position is also wild as heck.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, no, to be like, I got banned from these platforms, so I'm like double and triple down almost by being like, here's the receipts. Who? And I can almost guarantee you that, because he's like, yeah, people have been in my DMs. And I'm like, I'm sure people have been in your DMs. People support you already.
Yeah.
And I have definitely seen a guy with a white profile picture on Twitter say, hey, I'm black. So, like, there's definitely probably somebody in there that's like, hey, I'm trans, and I definitely think there's two genders. Yeah. Like, there's no way that you can tell me that every single one of those DMs that you've received is actually a trans person. And if they are, I respect you. You have your opinions on how gender works. I have mine. We all do. However, when your opinion makes you lose money, I don't know if I would share it that readily.
Is he really losing money, though? That's my thing.
I don't know if
because,
he's losing
like
money.
I said, okay, like...
And Twitch is also kind of on the downturn.
Let's be completely clear. I understand, because like I said earlier, like all you guys, you know, most of you, 90% of your boyfriends look like this guy. What I really mean by that is like, one, they do. And two, a lot more people have this belief in that community than they're willing to let on. A lot of men, because I even took the race out of it, a lot of men do feel this way. I'm assuming most of his followers are men.
Yeah, the majority.
A lot of men do feel this way. And honestly, it's like you can't pull 40 people in your DMs who already follow you, like you said, who are already men, like you said, bro. Excuse me.
Getting so worked up.
No, right? But it's like the whole like Andrew Tate thing. It's like the dudes being like, we believe he's innocent. No, duh.
You already believed everything that was coming out of his mouth.
Like you wouldn't have accepted any other truth besides whatever he already said. So to use that and being like, no one's gonna come online and say it, you're right, because everybody who actually does come on and say it, they know how stupid they sound. So a lot of those people aren't gonna say anything because they know it. You know, they'll be like, well, there's no debating with you guys because you know you sound dumb. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, you sound dumb. I don't know if he's losing any money. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not really sure what Aiden Ross does. What does he do?
Him and I Show Speed, all they do is talk and get really like excited about things, I guess. Like they're like aggressive on camera. They interview people, they hang out with people, they ask them questions sometimes, but for the most part, nothing.
They're just online.
So here, like you were saying, like there's so many streaming platforms, there's so many streamers, there's so much of this going on that it's really hard to determine what it is that all these people do. So like him specifically, I don't know. All I know is that he's had some popular streams with like with Lil Uzi. Mm-hmm. He's played video games and stuff like that before. But like for the most part, these dudes that are streaming all day and all night, they don't really be doing nothing. Like you can only really play video games and like have that trend and stream for like 3 to 4 hours or something like that. But for people who are like, all right, bro, like I got to go make a sandwich or like I got to go get back to my regular life or something. And so if you're making content like that all day, yeah, like I'm sure at a certain point your brain just turns off. You just start talking.
And this is what you say?
Yeah, I
guess.
guess.
There's only 2 genders.
I guess that's what he says.
I'm moving to a conservative platform where I can only talk about 2 genders. Bro, do something else. I don't even know these guys, but do something else. Which, talking about people who never recovered, I feel like a lot of these guys should look at DaBaby. And how DaBaby never recovered, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, no. DaBaby is...
He's still making music.
Yeah.
But I'm sure this is the first you've heard in a while about DaBaby making music from me, the Winning Podcast. But at the same time, yeah, like DaBaby, a while back said some... Let me be careful about how I phrase this. Compared to things that have happened recently, DaBaby should have bounced back by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he hasn't ever really, I don't know. He may have said some bars that people didn't agree with or like some other random stuff, but the main things that DaBaby has been accused of are not really like, they're not as violent, they're not as crazy as a lot of the things that are going on right now.
Exactly. Especially with these streamers.
Yeah.
So I think they should all take a page out of DaBaby's book, who also doubled down and got canceled, but then he disappeared. He's trying to make a comeback. The music's not the same because whatever. But at the same time, I just don't get it. I get it. I guess, yeah, I do get propaganda sales. I get the more controversial you are, probably the more views you get and more streams and whatever else, which is a nasty culture, by the way. But at the same time, eventually you got to turn the cameras off. And I guess it goes one way or the other. You can either leave your house and people not care because that's the true culture of Americans. Like, they don't really care about anything. Mm-hmm. Or people could really, like, boycott this man, which is probably what's not going to happen.
I mean, the problem with people like Aiden Ross is that there's nobody to really cancel him because the people who already weren't watching him will continue to not watch him. And the people who were watching him that are offended by that statement specifically will stop watching him. But overall, his demographic is like teenagers.
Teenage white men.
Yeah.
White boys.
Yeah, like literal boys. So realistically, you can't take that audience from him. Like he's probably still going to be just fine with them because their minds are easily malleable. And with that kind of like energy and just being alone but childish is like, it's appealing to a child, but to us, almost
anybody.
I'm not going to tell y'all how old we are, but you'll figure it out yourselves. Us as like nearly in our mature years, like we don't got time for any of that.
Mature years.
You got any
I'm
of
27.
That.
I don't know what he's hiding from. Mature years. I'm young as hell.
We're almost 30. Is what I'm saying.
That's young.
And no, I'm not saying that it's.
Years.
I'm not saying that it's like old. I'm just saying like as people who are what you would call true adults. Like
true adults.
You're past the prime of your brain finishing to develop. And
I get
stuff.
it.
Like,
I'm just poking fun at it because.
But yeah,
I mean, I consider this man listen.
But he's like our age, and that's the thing that's weird. Because we're watching him and we're like, none of my friends would do this.
Yeah. Or feel this way or think this way.
No.
And again, like these guys are hanging out with our favorite celebrities, being at public events that honestly they shouldn't even really be at because again, you're a streamer.
Yeah, what
like
do
even
you
as
do?
even as a podcaster, like I understand. I podcast. What do I got to be sitting courtside of the NBA game for? For what?
Exactly.
I ain't got to do that. I'd sell those tickets so quick. Y'all don't even know.
Hey, but if you do want to give them to us, we might show up.
No, for real. That was free promotion right there. But I do want to gravitate away from that. This is not a podcast where we talk about these people.
We just wanted to tell you guys about some of the breaking news stories that we were
Exactly. Because, listen, being a celebrity is not always a bad thing. I was pointing in the wrong direction. Being a celebrity is not always a bad thing.
I'm dead.
Sometimes it could be a blessing. And this blessing will come right after this commercial break. The Winning Podcast.
All right, now we've got video.
All right, now we're back. Again.
Again.
Yeah. So now that we're done with all the controversial stuff, which, believe it or not, between the breaks we took, some more controversial stuff happened, but that'll be for next week.
Yeah.
Because we needed time to process it.
I need to watch it a few more times. That was weird.
All I got to say is, guys, relax.
Yeah.
We need to all just
Men.
relax. Men, specifically.
Just calm yourselves. You don't need to talk about everything all the time. And LOL, here we are. Anyway.
Which, yeah, I guess we're not the best people to say that. But I think we take a less, and a person doesn't hurt people as much. Anyway.
But we want to talk about some of the positive effects that people can have on things. You wanted to talk about Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Drake because I think we haven't had a person in the culture like this for a while. The last person that we had in the culture like this is problematic now. But
yeah, exactly.
I think Drake is a very special person because Drake is at a period in his life where no matter what he works on is great. Like no matter what he works on is impactful. And mainly I'm talking about the whole Sunday conversation thing with Caleb Presley and Glenny Balls. Ever since he worked with them, they really have been going off. Because remember last time we spoke, and I said they were like on 134. They're not like 290,000.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? And yes, I'm sure they were going to grow. I'm sure they were going to do just fine. And they were doing just fine before Drake. But since the Drake interview, things have been very different. Like all the other episodes, me personally, I've watched like 30 of their episodes at least. You know what I mean? I think they're hilarious. I think there's a lot of personality. And again, yes, it took Drake for me to find out about these guys. But now that I know about them, they do have a fan. You know what I mean? They have a recurring like stream from me.
Yeah.
And then I started to think about Lil Yachty, which Lil Yachty's been hanging out with Drake a lot more recently. Mm-hmm. He just did a interview with Drake on a platform called Future Mood or something similar. Look it up, no free clout. Where him and Drake just chatted it up. Again, never heard of this platform. Didn't know Yachty was sitting down and talking to anybody. But again, since then, I've gotten like a little bit more of appreciation for Yachty because now you know who he's hanging out with. And call it what you want. I'm a Drake stan. I've always thought Drake was great. I've never been a Drake hater. And I think Drake will continue to do great things. But it clearly shows that people who align themselves with Drake do extremely well. Or, that's at least the perception of it. What else? I don't know.
That's who else? Lil Wayne. That's what I was really thinking of earlier, but it wasn't so much like in the same way. But we'll round that out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a whole different subject because I do consider them to be in different eras.
Exactly.
And again, there wouldn't be Drake without Wayne. There just wouldn't be. Mm-hmm. I don't think Drake could have gone to any other camps and done as well. He would have been a big star, yes. But I think there was something special about him coming from Young Money. Mm-hmm. But again, that's a whole different conversation. But I do think the Drake effect is really real. Hate him or love him. Say whatever you want about his music, his style, and the way he carries himself. I promise you a feature from Drake
or whose
with
mom
anyone.
He goes on a date with.
Yeah, exactly. I promise you a feature from Drake on anything would take you to a whole next level. And at that point, whatever you do with that opportunity is really up to you. Obviously, Sunday Conversation has Barstool as a backing. But again, before that, there were like low 90,000s on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, and they had other really, really big names on the show that never did what Drake did for them.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
You know what's next?
What?
Hot Ones.
That would be insane. And I promise you, we have been seeing, you know,
bigger and bigger stars on Hot Ones.
But it wouldn't be the same as because, you know, Drake's also this, like, people look at him as like a softer guy as a rapper. You know what I mean?
He can handle some hot wings.
That's what I'm saying. People would want to go and find out if Drake can handle the hot wings.
Hey, first we feast. I want that.
Yeah, you know. So I don't know. Like, it's a cool thing to see. Because not a lot of people can really do this. Not even really Jay-Z has that impact. Because Jay-Z is such a big name now that it's like, I heard. Now, when I hear people are working with Rock Nation, I don't even think Jay-Z. Jay-Z's not hanging around Rock Nation, meeting people on the
new artists.
Yeah, I don't think he's really doing that. No matter what people try to pitch. So shout out Drake. Which brings us into another, you know, celebrity who seemingly companies can't do without, and that's Kanye West.
Yeah. So that's what we were going to say before about, like, there are very few people that can have this kind of effect on anything or anyone in any industry. But previously, that person would have been Kanye West. However, now we got Kanye West in sort of a controversial position. But Adidas' most controversial position that they have Kanye West in is that they absolutely cannot do anything without him.
Exactly. Okay, I don't know if I'd say absolutely cannot do
maybe
anything
not
without
absolutely
him.
anything.
But they're definitely hurting.
Yeah.
That can't be argued against.
They said they lost, like $3 billion of their market cap. 3.8, if I'm not mistaken, which is almost 4.
Here, let's look at this here.
But yeah, it was at least three billies. And that is a terrifying thing to lose because of one person. You were telling me the other day it was 10%.
Let's see, because I think it was closer to like, it's 1.3.
Yeah,
1.3 billion. Man, 1.3 billion
off your decision, off of one person that you were working with, and it's not even so much that, I don't know. Here's the deal: was all of that market cap loss just for the things that Ye was saying? Absolutely not.
No, 100%.
Because as we've already discussed in private, and as the market will really tell you, no one really cares what this person is saying. You're making shoes. That's all I wanted was the shoes. Now they're controversial shoes. It's like blood diamonds, right? Like blood diamonds hold higher value because of the work that is needed to achieve them. Not saying that they're ethical or right, but it's a higher value because it's like valued at the price of life. And so to have like a collector's item from basically like a controversial person. Oh. As a collector's item of a controversial person, it's like, I don't want to say it, but it's like gold from a certain era of history.
Oh yeah. The minute people heard no more Yeezys, I'm sure nobody was reselling their Yeezys.
No.
And I would definitely, even when we're in Vegas, we were seeing some of the newer rollouts from Adidas, and just seeing the Kanye influence, but not the Yeezy trademark. I didn't want it. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't want anything to do with it. It's not worth the price you guys are asking for now because there's no cultural relevance.
Yeah.
And $1.3 billion is a lot of money to lose over one person.
And it's like, it's no longer a collaboration. That's like, what is it? Is it Urban Outfitters? Like Urban Outfitters was collabing with Keith Haring's estate for a long time there. But it's like, without that, you're just Urban Outfitters. You're just making Urban Outfitters the basic machine printed clothes and stuff like that. Like,
exactly.
It's not anything crazy. But now Adidas is the same thing. Like, you were previously making a large collector's item that was a collaboration. But now you're kind of just
back to making shoes.
You're just making shoes, which
and
you were already doing before. It's
you
not
don't
special.
have any big names on your roster that would really push those numbers.
No, not like those numbers.
Especially because Nike already has Drake. Nike has Travis Scott. Nike has Nike has LeBron. You know what I mean? Like Nike has so many big name artists who went that way instead. And Adidas, the next big thing they had was Beyonce, but Ivy Park is not even pushing numbers. They're about to lose $100 million based on the Beyonce partnership they had because, again, it's not the Yeezy effect.
No.
Don't get me wrong. Beyonce is a cultural icon, timeless.
But
I'm sure whenever the aliens discover the world, like Beyonce will be, I'm sure they'll look at Beyonce like she was a god or something. But Beyonce is not pushing numbers like Kanye is. Because realistically, who's buying more shoes and clothes? Men are. And
those kinds.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when it comes to athletic gear and all that type of stuff and Yeezy brand and that resale market was insane. To cut that off and be like, we're no longer working with this man. We're just going to push our own like products with whatever. It was never going to work. Again, love him or hate him. Feel how I feel about his music. Feel how I feel about the comments he said. We've already taken our stance, but again, we're just, whatever the word is. Can't even talk. Talking so fast. Kanye really does have that impact that clearly is, when he said Yeezy, the $1 billion baby, he really meant it, clearly.
Yeah.
Because that baby's gone and they lost $1.3 billion. And that's a lot of money. However much money Adidas makes over the year, they could make $99 billion and they would still be upset they didn't rack in that extra $1 billion.
This is true.
I don't care.
I agree.
So moving on. This one was kind of funny. I put this in here because I just want to go ahead and say I do not endorse this man. I did not vote for him, nor am I going to vote for him. I don't check on him or follow him, but every now and then, some news about Donald Trump pops up on my feed. And I have to entertain it.
It's usually just the comical things.
Yes. So Donald Trump is going around saying there's a new N-word. Now there's two N-words that we should never really say. The first one we already know, which I guess I will pat him on the back for not endorsing people saying that word, because he did say one of the N-words is already terrible and we should never say it. Nobody should ever say it. And we all know what word that is. I'm not going to say it. The new N-word that apparently on the same level that should never be repeated is nuclear. That's the big bad word going around town right now. And he used that during one of his campaign speeches because, again, he's running for president. Do with that what you will. And he said, right now the world's in a crazy space where we're just a little too sensitive because at any given point, he used the N-word. You pick which one.
Oh, my gosh. At any point, the world could go N-word.
Yeah.
You pick the one.
You pick the one. And, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, when I heard it, I laughed. But the audience was clapping, was cheering. I don't know what they heard that I didn't.
Here's what I'm going to say. Is he even allowed to say this? I get it. He acknowledged that one word was bad, but is he even able to make this joke?
I mean, if Dilbert gave himself a black card, I think Donald Trump, who's appeared in a lot of black movies, name dropping a lot of rap songs, and has pictures with actual black people. I've never seen Dilbert until today. So I think Donald Trump, more so than Dilbert, has a claim to the N-word. In the N-word community.
Luigi just said that just like Applebee's, I will believe that black people have been here as long as there's a picture on the wall.
Yes. Listen.
Oh my God. No, okay. I feel you there, kind of. But I just, on my behalf, I'm like, we don't even need to be making euphemistic jokes about our stuff. You know,
listen.
Like it's.
I don't think it was a joke, though. That's the thing.
When did he say that though? Also,
was during Black History Month.
That was like last week, right?
It was during Black.
That was during Black History Month.
But I don't think it was a joke. I think he really.
He was using a what is it? Is it ethos, pathos, and logos? That one's like pathos.
I don't think Donald Trump even knows all them words.
He doesn't, but I'm saying that's like whoever was helping him write these things. That's what they're doing. They're like, during Black History Month, I'm going to take a stand on saying that the N-word is bad. And you know what other N-word is bad? Another one that I'm replacing with this one.
Yeah.
And you're like, you are now doubly discouraging like our history. You're right. It is bad. We should talk about that for a little bit longer for a second, bro.
Hey, he's trying to prevent Chernobyl. I can't be mad at him.
He's trying to what?
Prevent Chernobyl. I don't know, bro.
Gosh. Chernobyl was just a whole lot of mismanagement, but
hey, and he's saying the same thing with all this nuclear activity. Listen, moving on.
Yeah, we don't talk about that on this segment.
Yes. Continuing to talk about racial relations, we have a new trailer for White Men Can't Jump.
Hell yeah. And I don't like it.
I need to understand the hype behind Jack Harlow, and then maybe I might have an opinion.
I just need more. Like, we only got a teaser. So it's really difficult for me to ascertain, like, how I'm truly going to feel about it.
And I gotta say, Woody Harrelson always looked like a black man trapped in a white man's body just based off features.
I don't know, man. Maybe not from my perspective. I thought that he always looked quite cowboy white guy.
You think so?
Yeah.
I just feel I'm saying based on roles and I guess the way he has acted publicly.
I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Quentin Tarantino then. No, because of how Quentin Tarantino places himself in his movies.
I don't know about that one. But listen, it's like Kid and Play. It's like Kid and Play. You got to have a certain black
to white ratio
affinity to star in a movie about racial tensions between the races and how the white boy can't play basketball, but you know the black guy's gotta give him a chance while teasing him the entire time. You have to have, you know what I mean? Like there has to be a bit more of a relevance there. Just for that to happen. It's like Abbott Elementary if you've ever seen it. Like Jacob, yes, he's acting like the white guy who hangs out with all the black people, but you really can't tell that outside of that role. Jacob probably does hang out with black people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Jack Harlow doesn't hang out with black people. He's a rapper. I hope he does.
Definitely hangs out with black people.
But
know that.
I don't know if Jack Harlow has the range to act in such a cultural movie. And who's playing Wesley Snipes? I heard it's some TikToker. And even that, I'm like, what is that all about? What happens to actors being actors?
Yeah. That's
Not
exactly
to say a TikTok person doesn't have the range.
Or a rapper.
To do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it used to be a thing where before you start in a movie that was going to move anything, you needed to be a little bit more of a household name.
Yeah, you had to know what you were doing.
Exactly.
I don't know. I agree with you there. Like that was literally my point. I was like, is Jack Harlow able to play this role? I honestly don't think I'm concerned about Jack Harlow playing the role. I'm more concerned about like the cultural reset of trying to redo some of these concepts.
Jack Harlow's a interesting guy.
Yeah, I could definitely believe Jack Harlow could play a white guy misplaced in amongst a bunch of black people.
Generation Now.
Absolutely.
Generation Now is doing a killer job about promoting their artists, is all I'm going to say.
Absolutely they are.
I ain't mad at that.
Another thing I would love to see redone as opposed to something like these is something like Breakin'. You remember that movie?
No.
Oh, man, I'm about to send you Breakin'. That's next week's discussion.
But the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up this week's episode, Don Toliver dropped a new album. I know it's kind of the end of the episode. You guys are probably, who knows if y'all still hanging out, if y'all still listening, but if y'all are, let's talk about it. Full review coming to the next episode, but right here, right now, I'm gonna let y'all know I like it.
Oh man, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good album.
All the way through. The deluxe dropped almost immediately afterwards.
Him and Travis don't miss.
Listened to it a couple times already. That's what I needed.
And again, listen next week for the full review and how we really feel about it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Jack, if you want to come in the podcast, talk your shit, let people know how you really feel and how you could really play the role of a white man in a basketball movie with a black guy, pull up. The winning podcast always has a... We'll find another mic. We'll make it work. And on that note, it's been your host, Luigi.
And Caleb.
You already know what it is.
Doses.
Till next week.